Hello and welcome to All For United with me, John Foster, MUFC. Very special show today. We've got Natalie with us. How you doing, Nat?
Hi, John. Yeah, I'm doing good. Can't wait for this.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it as well. Joined by Emma tonight. How are you doing, Emma?
Really good, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure. We've been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this since before Christmas. I remember sending the message out to Emma, and thankfully she agreed to come on. We'll introduce Emma a little bit shortly, but just so you know what to expect in the show today. Combined 11. So at the end of the show, we'll reach out on that one. And sorry to all the people in India who are staying up late. I know that you have to stay up even later to see the combined 11, but we've got other topics that we want to talk about as well. So we want to talk a little bit about how our seasons are going so far, a bit of a preview before the game in a few days' time, 8 days' time. I know there's fans that want to hear about Alex Greenwood, a little bit about the manager this season on Man City's side. So loads to discuss. But before I do all that, I just want to hear Nat's thoughts on Kirsty Hansen's contracts. Absolutely brilliant.
Buzzing, happy. I think I'm buzzing because it's the longest contract I've seen for the women's. I know LJ got a 3 year, but I think it was like 2 plus 1, 3. This is like a 3 year plus 1, so it's like a 4 year deal. And I just think Hansen's been so great, but let's not say I don't know, like she's been so great, and let's see if she gets into our combined 11. I've seen her top of loads of tables. I think she is dead underrated, but for me, Emma's got fans already. I'm happy that she, shows our commitment to this women's team by giving us such a long deal, and I'm just excited to see who's next, really. So let's go.
I think obviously congratulations to Kirsty, but also a massive thank you and well done to Casey for making this decision as well. I think it's a bold statement. I think it proves that if we've got a youngster in our team that's continuously progressing and doing everything asked of her, level-headed, then the rewards are there. And as you say, it's not a 1 year deal anymore. This is a 3 year deal. So Casey wants to keep her or realises that she's going to be worth money and wants to sell her in the future. Yeah. So for me, either way, Kirsty deserves it, and a massive well done to her. Thank you to everybody in the comments. Marie, John, blessings, Rahul, another John, Becky, thank you. I can see you all there leaving comments. Let's introduce Emma then. So Emma, please just tell us a little bit about yourself and where people can find you on the Fancast.
Yeah, so I'm Emma. I do a podcast that follows Man City Women. I'm doing that now for a few years. Really love doing it as well. It's great. I've got a Twitter account which is at MCW Fancast, and my handle is there. For my personal stuff. But obviously been following the team for a long time now, and it's been a good season so far. So really looking forward to the next few games. February is going to be a big month for City, so really looking forward to Arsenal at the weekend, and then you guys.
I think it is. It's going to be a massive month, and we'll talk about that. I'm just interested to see how you guys first met, because Emma, I first saw you on either Natalie's channel or the Barmy Army channel, and that was a while ago now. Nat, can you remember the first time that you guys interacted?
We've just been saying just before we came on live that Emma's sort of seen me probably talking like how everyone probably seen me, just picking up the women, retweeting the women, talking about it, trying to get the Barmy Army going, and I think that's it. And I think when we played City at the Etihad, I think I reached out to Emma and said, do you want to come on, do a little preview video for Barmy Army channel? So there's definitely one on there. And then Emma's always been welcoming, kind, wanting to get involved with stuff that we've done. So, if usually it's like Man United, Man City, they don't talk or that. No, Emma's always been like, yeah, I'll come on and talk. And, I've always pushed Emma as really star, thinking of a Man City fan base who always has had time for me. Even I can be, arrogant and unbearable, it's fine, but she's always been nice and kind and welcoming.
Got to represent the club, haven't you? You know what I mean? Yeah. Someone's got to do it.
What are your memories on that, Emma? I mean, is that kind of like normal in the women's game, like where fans can interact more freely without there being such abuse? Obviously, there's banter, and we'll have some on this show, I'm sure. But is it a little bit more normal?
I've got great respect for Nat. You know, she's worked really hard to promote Man United. I nearly said Man City. I'm sorry. You know, and respects all the work that the Barmy Army does. I think, you know, it is a really positive movement. You know, and I think it's great to have, you know, United on board and building a really strong squad and great with great foundations as well. So, yeah, it's just great to see that in the women's game. Got one, mate, honestly. But yeah, I think, you know, me and Nat, we've been chatting for some time now, a couple of years, and it's always great to have these kind of, you know, engagement things and fan videos and stuff. You know, I'm always great to hear your guys' opinions, and you know, I think for me, I like to reach out to a lot of fans from different clubs as well, and just to try and keep that engagement. You know, I don't, you know, hold back. I just enjoy talking about football, and that's it.
Yeah, definitely.
Just like me and Natalie. I mean, we just do this, and we never stuck what to talk about. I mean, there's some fan channels out there who do it daily, you know, but I always think to myself, we could do like 3 or 4 shows a week and never get stuck. There's always something to talk about, even in the women's game. Not as much as the men's game, but just before we actually get started, how did your fancast begin? You know, what made you get into that, and how's that going?
Yeah, it's going really well. I think, you know, season on season it grows, which is fantastic. You know, we've always had a really good engagement with that, and you know, people get involved with it. You know, I like to talk to different clubs as well, so different fans to get different views on the games and stuff, which I always like to do to try and keep it a bit varied and a bit more balanced, so it doesn't come across as biased, I suppose. But yeah, I love doing the podcast. It's something I've always enjoyed doing. I think at the beginning it was something I wanted to do just to help get a bit more coverage, to help, you know, I wanted to talk about the team. I don't think there was much coverage at the time. Obviously that's grown as time's gone on, but you know, there was a point, I think it was in and around the Euros, where I just thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go, see if people are interested, and people just really took it in and took it to, you know, took me to the sort of place where I wanted to be in terms of growing the podcast. And you know, we're getting there slowly, but yeah, it's always great to put that out and to get people engaged with it, and people really enjoy it. So that's all that matters. If people are enjoying it, we'll keep doing it.
100%. And it is a very good podcast. I listen to it. I don't listen to many women's football podcasts because, as a lot of people know, I'm more Man United than I am women's football. But the more I'm getting into Man United women's, the more I want to learn about other teams, and that's definitely one that I recommend anyone to check out. So MCW Fancast, it's tagged all day long on my Twitter page and the All for United WFC page. So please find it and have a look at it. One of the shows. Come on, let's get into it then. We're kind of at home because we're on the All for United channel. We're not on the MCW Fancast, so we're kind of at home, and we've got the home support.
Definitely on my own. I feel like I'm on my own here. I have to say on Twitter, I tell you.
Yeah, you've got the one fan there. Thank you, Becky, for joining in.
Thanks, Becky. Appreciate it.
Oh, we've got 2. I forgot. We have got Rahul as well. He's kind of in the middle because he writes about Man United women's team, but he's a Man City supporter. Look, thank you for joining in. And if you're enjoying the channel and what we're doing and what Emma's doing, please hit the thumbs up. City's season so far, Emma, how would you kind of explain it and describe it?
Slow. Slow, definitely. I think obviously that you've seen there's been a lot of changes at the club. We've had obviously a new manager come in with Gareth, you know, new players in the summer. There's been a lot of changes, to be fair, and I think it was almost too optimistic to think that we could probably hit the ground running. But you know, we're really starting to show our form now, which I think is really important this half of the season. You know, we're showing that we can compete at the top of the table, and we really want to keep the pressure on. So, like I said, February is going to be a really tough month for us. But, you know, we've got to throw everything at it, and we will.
I think on that, regarding February, I've been saying for the past couple of weeks now, the Reading and Man City game, if we can get maximum points out of there, you know, I'll really fancy us for Europe, and I'll stand by that. And that doesn't mean that it'll be a City's... who won't be anything to do with City. I think Arsenal are more likely to be the ones now dropping out as things stand. But yeah, it is a real massive month, and obviously from then, other teams will be playing against each other. It is really massive, yeah. Nat, I mean, was you kind of surprised at the slow start the City made?
Yeah, I was. At the start of the season, I thought it was going to be, City, Chelsea up there. That's what everyone predicted. Everyone predicted it would be City and Chelsea top two. And I think we just did our business, went under the radar, and we've been sitting top for a while. Obviously, great top, but we're second. But I still feel like that gap is there to City. I think when we played them the first time around, that Tobin rocket, I think it was, to be fair. Yeah, I think City were all over us. City dominated us that first half, and I know people say about that Chelsea game, but that was the moment when I was most worried in the whole point of the season. I was never sort of worried at times in the Chelsea game. Obviously, Chelsea are a great side. They'll grind it out. But I think once Tobin scored that goal, the mentality shifted, and it was all Man United. It was all Man United. We could have won that. And I think that's what we've got in a way. Got our mentality. Not saying that City don't. I think they have come back. I think they've done well, but I think we've got that belief in us that we'll never die. The song "Keep the Red Flag Flying High." But for me, it's going to be a tough game, that one. But I don't see why we can't go there, get a point, get 3. Tobin, big miss, massive miss. But for me, I think Everton game was one of our best performances since the Arsenal game, probably, all season. We just was in cruise control. I wasn't bothered by anything. So for me, I think it's same again, that the same kind of attitude, the belief that we had. Yes, there's no Tobin, but I think we'll go there knowing that we played City. The Conti Cup game, it was 0-0, and they could have changed it up and gone in their confidence. I mean, yes, they will have the confidence. I think that's on their side now. And it all depends about this Arsenal game. It's a massive game for them before they play us. I mean, if they get a 1-1 there, I think then that puts that confidence back with us. But, or some kind of draw puts that confidence back with us. But I'm confident that, we're gonna get the points. I mean, I said it to John, didn't I, after that Everton game? I was dead confident. I think we can go unbeaten all season now. Why not? Why can't that one defeat, be that only defeat? Because the way that Casey spoke after that defeat was, she was disgusted. That's the emotion I felt from her. So for me, I don't think we can, point is good enough now for us. Beat Reading and get a point at City. My passport's already here, so I'm ready. I'm already planning them trips. Don't worry.
That's how we can go.
Quarantine for 2 weeks.
We'll give our predictions towards the end of the show, but just like following up with that, like the start of the season. If you look at it in a way, City aren't in a bad position if it wasn't for United. I think because Man United's probably done better than what I was expecting at the start of the season. Clawing back all those point gaps from the second season that we had that he had on us. If you took us out of the equation, then all of a sudden City are second, only a few points behind Chelsea. But I think because we've now kind of upped our game, that it's put pressure on the big 3. Some people say it's a big 4 now. It's kind of put extra pressure on City to perform as well and get results. So how do you think, Emma, the United season's going? Was you surprised that it's kind of flew as quickly as it has?
No. I think I would say it's been pants, but let's be honest. I think, do you know what? All credit to Casey. She's laid really good foundations from those few seasons ago when she was building a squad in the Championship. You've still got a lot of those players there as well, and you can see the improvements and how far everyone's come along. I mean, look at Tooney. I mean, she's doing so well at the minute for you guys. Yeah. Did you put that on purpose? And I think, to be honest, Everton was the team for me that I was looking at the beginning of the season. They had that good run of the form. They started the season really well, and then they've sort of just petered off a little bit. Again, they've made some really good signings, so I don't know how to really gauge how they're going to do for the rest of the season. But United are just slowly and quietly just been getting on it, chipping away, and getting really fantastic results. And we can't underestimate that game heading into it. United are a real threat now, probably the biggest threat they've been to us probably since from the very beginning of coming up to the WSL.
Are you worried about us sustaining it? Can you see us being there now for obviously the rest of this season and then going from strength to strength, or do you think that maybe it's still a bit of a honeymoon period where you maybe will level out in maybe your opinion and start dropping down a little bit, or can you see us actually being up there now and staying there?
I don't think it's a honeymoon period. I think you're sustaining, yourselves as a top 4, top 5 team, however you want to look at it. I think Casey's a fantastic manager. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think she's brilliant. She's done fantastically well. She's had the support of you guys, but she's got the support of the club as well. And, she's made some really good signings. I think, you've not necessarily gone out for the really big names either, but she's brought in quality players. I mean, look at Ona Batman Battle. Yeah. I don't even know.
You don't know either.
Yeah, I don't think anyone knows, to be fair, but do you know what I mean? I think she's been brilliant for you guys. I think she's been a class signing. I think Leah Golton as well, she's come really to fruition for you this season. She's been, I think she's, for me, is one to watch, for the future as well. I'd love to see her called up to the Lionesses at some point. She's, I hope that she can sort of change her thoughts and ideas around, wanting to be in that squad, because I think she is worthy of a call up for sure.
What are your thoughts on that, Nat?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's about, like what she said, the foundation was built from the start, and I think it's not been adding superstars, adding this, I think everyone sort of, we could have got Harder, we could have got Samken. No, you just add in those little pieces. Like I say, Ella Toon, she just came in, she was at City, she didn't really get much game time. She is a red through and through, but I think, Casey put her in there. We did the championship. I think that's built us, really. That's where we've got a lot of that winning mentality from. And then I think last year, Tooney was in and out, but she just put her head down, worked hard. That's what everyone's done at that lockdown. People who probably watched the men's game, you look at the difference between Mason Greenwood at the start of the season, then the lockdown happened, and then when he's come back, and I just think the girls are like that. They've put that extra effort in during lockdown to come back and restart the season the way we have. And people like Tooney, Jackie, Leah, hell, even Martha was looking good when she came on for those few minutes. People like that just look like different players. And I just think, like Emma said, credit to Casey. It's all, she'll say it's not all, but it's all that team. It's Martin, it's Ellie, it's people all behind the scenes doing all that work. Charlotte Healy, even with the youth, I know they get involved and stuff. And I just think, like you say, now with that Hansen deal, that 4-year deal, just showing the commitment this club has towards it. And I think it's onwards and upwards now. Even if we finish third, say, it don't matter. For me, I think we're going to be competing to win that league next season. I think, we've talked about it, the names that might come in. We talked about Bunny, Eva. Then you just add those little names. It's not like you say the big this and that, boy. It's quality players that are going to improve your team year on year, and that's what she's done. And I just think we're going to take over. I don't like saying it, but, we're not here to take part, and that's the thing. It's Man United. It should be at the top. It should be in Europe. We're not coming just to, nice, let's just do this. Let's see what happens. No, we want to win trophies. We want to, compete in Europe, compete with the best. Why shouldn't you want that? It shouldn't be any shame in saying that. And I'm not sure women's football, it seems to be a bit like, you don't want to score. No, let's go out. Let's score 6. Let's score that. I remember when we played Leicester and I said, let's go out and score 10, 11. I'll celebrate every goal like it's the first goal. Why shouldn't you? And I just think, that kind of mentality will help push women's football. And I think it is helping push it, because you shouldn't be ashamed to go out there and smash teams and win them. And I know that's what City's doing at the minute. And, for me, we should have scored 5 versus Everton, potentially. but it's okay. We just need to keep winning, and it's points what will get you to where you want to be.
We can see the passion that Nat's got there, and I've got it as well. I was not as animated, sorry, but like I feel that we can really take this league and to another level as well. But from an outside of it, Emma, do you feel that? Can you see United keep on building and keep on progressing, or is it just me and Natalie because we're Man United supporters and we've got that belief that we think that we can just win everything at some point? Not this season, not next season, but what do you think?
Well, I think to a point, when you're a fan of a football club, whatever, club it may be, you're always rooting for your team to do well. Look at Bristol, who'd have thought they'd have got to a Conti Cup final, and they've got their shot at glory now. I mean, come on, the bottom of the league, so you've got to take the opportunities when they come along. I think, some football fans have got to understand now that, United are here and like you said, they want to compete. If it's got, we've just got to come accustomed to the fact that that's going to happen now. You know what I mean? I think, people want to see you guys fail. I want to see you fail, but it's probably not going to happen. And we've got to accept that now.
That's what I love about it, Emma. I love it. I love that people want to see us fail. And that's the thing. And I think at the start, potentially even our players didn't understand it. That's what I think. I think our players didn't understand that this is Man United. Everyone hates us and has hated us since Fergie. This is never going to change. Just because it's women playing, don't think they're going to like you. And I just think I heard little things, little snippets. I mean, Amy T said, everyone was saying this and money bags and all this and making up all these excuses. Yeah, obviously we weren't there. But let's move on now. And I just think the fact that people still want to go back to that and drag it out and forget about it because we're here and we're here now. It's over. It's like a juggernaut. That's how I feel. And I feel like no one can stop our belief. This and that. But no one believed that we'd be sitting second now to the joint top. So I think that's what helps as well. And I think Casey has put that in them girls because, as they were saying, we've got a target on our back. And that's the kind of mentality. I love that siege, that it's us versus the world. And she's just a great person, she's a great person and she's an even better manager. And I just think she knows what we want to hear as fans and what's going to attract people to watching this team and what Man United is about 100%. She's like a little Alex Ferguson and I love it. And people are hating her now and it's even better.
She's totally embodied Alex Ferguson, to be fair.
It is. It's that hunger though, isn't it? We're hungry as fans. Casey's hungry as a manager and she's making sure that all the players are hungry as well. And it has been a massive step up in a short amount of time as well, going from the Championship where, there was a few fans there, obviously, but now the players are known all over the world because of potentially with Preston Heath coming, the spotlight all over the world, all over Twitter, all over social media. And all of a sudden the players have got to react, not just on the pitch, but the way they react away from the pitch. It's such a massive step to some of these youngsters who are not used to playing at this level, and they're still reacting really well to it and they're still getting the results. And it's just a credit to everyone associated at the club. And regarding the rivalry that we have between us, it's only going to improve the women's game, isn't it? And I think we should be. I really think that we should, continue doing these podcasts and doing things at the stadium. And obviously, as you say, Emma, you do want to see us crumble. But of course, we want to see you get knocked out of the top three as well and not make Europe. And that's part of football, in my opinion. But Nat, I know your thoughts on the rivalry, but just yourself, Emma, what are your thoughts on rivalry in the women's game?
Yeah, I think it's healthy. I think it's good to have a good bit of rivalry. I think it makes games like obviously next week more enticing, more hyped, people getting behind it, it getting more people interested, perhaps new fans that didn't really pay that much attention before, but now they're like, oh, right, okay, Derby, right, I've got to, get on this and get involved with it. And I think that's a good thing. Again, it's, using people's platforms to, promote the women's game, engage with fans. And I think it's all positive, in all honesty. I think it's great having, the supporters, we've missed that, obviously not having to go to the game this season. But, for when we have done, the banter between the fans in the stadium, I think is, I think that's great. and I'm all for it. And I hope that over time it grows, with more fans getting in the stadium and getting it behind it.
Yeah, so do I. Absolutely, yeah. Thank you, John Fry. Big shout out to the men's team who won 9-0. I'm actually old enough to remember that. I have very fond memories of the Ipswich game back in about 1996. A very quick story on the men's game. So I remember playing in my back garden, and back in them days we didn't have internet. We used to have teletext, so all the scores used to go around on teletext, and you had to wait about 3 or 4 minutes for the pages to turn. And I just remember my mum leaning out the back window saying, "Jono, it's 4-0 now, it's 5-0 now," and she ended up saying it was 9-0, and she couldn't believe it. And I used to keep on running. I used to run into the living room. I didn't believe her, and yeah, it was 9-0. That was back in about 1996, so a bit of a youngster back then. But yeah, fantastic to see the men's team win 9-0. And of course, there's a massive rivalry up there in the men's team at the moment as well.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your new manager. He's not so new anymore, but how do you think he's adapted? And was you surprised or scared with a change?
Yeah, I think I was surprised when Nick announced, obviously, that he was leaving. Back, I can't even remember when the announcement was now. It seems so far ago, but obviously he left.
I think it was before the FA Cup was played, so probably about January time-ish.
Yeah, January. He left in March. I think March was one of his last games where we played, or February where we played Arsenal. So just sad to see him go, to be honest. Obviously he'd been at the club for, a long time, 6 years with him. We won 6 trophies. It came about very suddenly. So it was a bit of a surprise, but obviously he's moved on now to Major League Football in America. He's at New York. So, really good a move for him under the City Football Group. Obviously with that, Alan Mann took over as an interim for a little while. But then obviously the season got curtailed, and then Gareth was announced in between sort of like the summer, coming to the squad. Didn't know all that much about him, to be honest. All that he'd obviously come through internally through the under 18s at City, had some success there, and obviously wanted to take on the women's team. And it's Gavin, who's the director of obviously the women's game, had a lot of good things to say about him. So, put every faith in him that the right appointment had been made. He seemed to have some really good ideas. He, addressed some of the changes and wanted to implement some different sort of style of play within the team. And, I think it's took him a while. But I think, we're doing sort of quite well under him at the minute. We've had a good run of games, like what he's done with the squad, like the way he utilises the team, the rotations. We've seen players come in and out of positions, but it's good to see that versatility throughout the team as well. So I think it's, pretty positive. And obviously we won the FA Cup as well this season, from obviously finishing that from last season. So it was great to have a bit of cup success as well there too.
Can I just ask a quick one? Obviously, you've had, I don't know who was before Nick, but Nick came in and he was sort of the similar path, and this is sort of the path that City do. What, bringing it from sort of like the boys to the women, and obviously it's all going on now about Emma Hayes and this and that, men's football, women's football, it's all the same. When City do this, what's your feelings? What's your thoughts? You not think, I'd rather just have someone, for example, when we got Casey, bang, right, this is her standing in the women's game. This is what she knows. She's been a player manager before. She's managed a bit in England national team. Do you not think I'd rather have someone who knows the women's game?
Yeah, so I think, you always sort of look for that manager with a credential, something to back it up a little bit. And, there were some names bandied about at the beginning. Everyone was saying Jill Ellis, one name that's obviously been, sprayed about a lot, in recent times, because obviously, she's a quality manager. And I think that's the kind of level you look at, isn't it, really? You want the best, and, she's got those sort of honours and everything else to back it up. I would have liked to have seen a name come in, to be honest, but it just obviously wasn't meant to be. For whatever reason, he saw something in Gareth that, he liked, and he thought that was the right decision to take the club forward. He's the type of guy I feel that would sort of offer us a little bit of longevity. I think it always takes a while for a manager to settle in, bed in, but obviously that transition, was pretty smooth because he'd already knew the club and, staff, and we've not really changed any of the backroom staff. So, I think he's had an easy transition in that respect. Like Alan Mann is still sort of there as an assistant to him, and those kind of things, still got the same goalkeeping coach, and all those kind of positions are still filled by the same people. So, yeah, I think he's obviously come in and he's been able to obviously work alongside, those that have worked with Nick in previous. So I think in that respect, he's been able to obviously get a better insight as to how things are run and what's sort of expected, and that City way kind of thing, if you like.
Did it not worry you though? Then he might not pull what Velasquez does, and then so he's gone in boys, the women's, and then obviously if a job comes up in the men's as an assist, I don't know. City are always buying.
Yeah. It's always a bit of a one you have to worry about, though, isn't it, in the women's game? Because if you look at like Phil Neville, wants to use the women's game as a stepping stone into the next role. So, you always have to be a bit mindful of that. But as far as I can tell, he's really committed to the club, and he seems to have really grown into the role as well, which I really like to see. Hearing him speak post match, he's a pretty honest guy. Nick could usually sometimes be, not be as direct, straightforward if there were things going wrong. He'd usually sort of brush over it. Gareth's a little bit more direct, which I like in a manager. He does like to tell it how it is, and I think we needed a bit of that as well. Let's not sugarcoat what we're doing if we're doing it wrong. He's identified areas where we need to improve, and we're really starting to see that now, which can only be a positive thing.
I think where we've kind of got a little bit lucky, or where Casey's got lucky, as opposed to Gareth, or Gaz, as Becky calls him in the comments.
Yeah.
Casey's first season, although she had a completely difficult job, I completely get that, from starting from scratch.
Yeah.
She kind of won a lot of games in that first season, so fans have kind of won over, maybe a bit more easier than what maybe the Man City manager's going to have, because he's now come in at a difficult time with Man United in there now. He's now got a challenge of, making a top three used to be easy, whereas now it's not as easy. So I guess in that sense, he has got a very tough job now, maybe even a tougher job than Nick had. Yeah. Before we move on to our competition, please hit the thumbs up. I want to see 15 thumbs up before we do the competition. Emma, I just want to ask you about Alex Greenwood. So we haven't spoken much about Alex Greenwood. We haven't spoken much about Alex Greenwood on this show because, if I'm honest, I don't really think that there's ever been a need to. My opinion is that, if I'm perfectly honest, I really thank her for what she did in that first season. She helped us win the the championship, but she left. It was her decision to leave. I don't blame her. If she wanted to leave to go to Lyon, then that's her decision. If she wasn't happy there and she wanted to come back to England and she thought that the City offer was the best offer, then again, that's her choice. I don't blame her. But I do think that if you're going to sell out United and then come back to United's rivals in City, then you can kind of expect to get quite a bit of critics. And I think that's pretty much where I stand on it. I do know that there's Man United fans who wanted to see Alex Greenwood come back in the summer. But I think probably the majority are very happy with where we are now. But Emma, what are your thoughts on Alex's arrival and her season so far?
Yeah, I think with Alex, I was almost surprised when the rumours started circulating that she was going to come to City, in all honesty. And to be honest, she's not a player that I've really thought that much of, if I'm honest. But however, since coming into the City squad, I do feel that her game, and I'm not just saying this because she's now in the City squad, because I know that probably United fans are going to think that, but I genuinely believe her game has elevated so much, and I really believe that it took me probably a few games to sort of see really the quality that I wanted to see But you know, she's really impressed me. Certainly this side of the year, December last year. You know, I think she's really sort of hitting some really good levels, and her confidence is really showing as well. She seems to have really settled into the team.
Well, we'll see how confident you are, when we do the combined 11 a little bit later. But, Nat, I mean, do you just want to give your comments on Alex Greenwood joining City?
I heard about it early. I knew she was not going to stay at Lyon for 2 years or whatever she signed for. It was only ever going to be the one. I think she thought she would come back. That's what I think. I'm not saying anything about City, but I think she thought she was going to go to Lyon, win the Champions League, and bam, I'll be back home. And that's the sort of vibes I got off her. I actually saw her in the England game, and that's sort of what she sort of said. I'll be back, Nat. And, it was clear she was coming back, still at the house. Jack, her partner, plays for Sheffield. So, she was going to come home. And I think Casey just sort of was like, no, you can't leave when we're going into the WSL. You're my captain. And then just sort of think you can just come back like that. And I think fair play. They didn't let her come back. Whether she go on, Emma.
I was going to say it was a massive, I think, at that point as well, at that particular stage of where United were at, because you could see that they were really transpiring to have really big ambitions at the club as well. And I think for Alex to go into that role as a captain, to carry that team forward for however long, was a massive surprise to see her move to Lyon at that stage of her career, really, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think she just went, even now with City, she picked up that trophy, and it's like, love, you weren't even part of it, so why you sort of say, but fair enough, she does what she wants. I can see Becky saying, she didn't deserve this. Listen, abuse shouldn't be tolerated for anyone, sexist, racist, homophobic, shouldn't be tolerated. But if you can't take a few snake emojis being posted on your thing, you shouldn't have done it then, should you? And I think I remember there was a picture, and it was her in 4 shirts. It was her in Liverpool, Everton, thingy, and City. And I just think Twitter went mad. The whole of Twitter went mad. It wasn't just women's football. And I think if anything, that shows the reach of Man United, because everyone picked up on it. I think our fan base, in a way, people the men's fans see what we're doing, don't they, John, a lot? Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people follow me who just follow the men's, but they follow me just to see what's happening in the women's game, in a way. And they know that women are top because I'm always tweeting, and a lot of people are pushing it. And I just think, I don't understand how you were surprised, or whether she was surprised or not. I know Emma Mitchell's come out and said, I joined Spurs and I was surprised. And I'm thinking, you joined Spurs, you were playing for Arsenal, and you joined Spurs. How can you be surprised that people have come out and said things? I don't know. Maybe, like I said, I've only just joined the women's game. But for me, Man United and Man City, I mean, God, Liverpool's even worse. So Man United and Man City, I'm not, like I said, I don't know what Becky's saying, rivalry, but she got snakes posting her thing, and apparently she has to stop her comments. And I think, like I said, homophobic, sexist, racist. I mean, if she started going on personal, if it's talked about mom, all that is out of order. But if people are just dropping snake emojis on you, think there was a lot of snake emojis that I saw about. And I just think, well, that's what, you know what I mean? And I think, some people take it to a new level, but
it's like what I said, Nat, you kind of got to expect it, haven't you? If you come back, and I know it's different in the women's game because the players move around more, so it's not as kind of frowned upon, I guess. But she knew what the Man United fans were like. She knew how loyal we were. And like I say, if you wanted to go to Lyon or Man City, that's absolutely fine, but just expect that there will be some sort of backlash.
I remember, John, there was a game and we were singing something about Liverpool or something, in your Liverpool, just some kind of Liverpool song. And I remember she saw it and she was laughing her head off. And I think, but that's the same, we hate Liverpool. We were singing about hating Liverpool when we were down in the Championship, And I just think, yeah. But the thing is, though, it's nothing against her. It's just I don't like Liverpool Football Club, And I don't know. Like I said, abuse, no. But if it's people giving you stick for going to Man City and you used to be Man United captain, go wild, post them snake emojis, and if she doesn't like it, it's cool, mate.
That reminds me, I think I need to tweet Toonie.
Toonie will laugh now. Toonie's not bothered. Because the thing is, though, and I'm surprised more City fans didn't come out in defence of Alex. That's why I'm surprised, because pretend if that did happen and people went after Toonie, I'm telling you, it'd be wars, mate, because we would, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, innit? I think when Abby did move, there was a few snakes, Abby McManus now. There was people like, what you doing? And I think a lot of United fans pushed that down.
I think because Abby Max, you've been at the club for so long, like even before we turned professional with the relaunch and stuff, she'd been at the club for so long. I mean, I remember when she had blonde skunk streaks in her hair, you know what I mean? Just have you ever seen that picture? Because I need to send it you, because I've never seen it like it, honestly. Rivalry in it, it comes with the game. I think sometimes we've got to accept that, we're on a platform where people can tweet and say what they want, and it can't be policed. It's not the best, but it's part and parcel of the game, and I think players almost understand that will happen.
Guys, we've still got so much to talk about, so we're going to jump to the competition now. So for those of you who are new to the channel or new to our show, All For United have teamed up with Football Town, who sells beautiful apparel, football shirts, beanie hats, all this kind of stuff, and they're helping us to get to 3,000 subscribers. The idea is that we run a competition every show, and 5 people get put into a prize draw. When we reach 2,500 people, that one of the names will be drawn out the hat, and you will win a prize. So every show we ask a question. So what I'd like you to do is put the answer in the comments, and we will put your name into the prize draw. So if you wouldn't mind getting ready, today's question is who are our current leading goal scorers in the WSL
this season?
This season, sorry. Yeah, good. Thanks, Nat. Yeah, this season. Yeah. So stick your names in there, and we'll come back at the end of the show and write down everyone's name and get put into the draw. And that'll be drawn when we reach 2,500 subscribers. We're currently on 2.1, so shouldn't be too long away now, hopefully the end of the month. Let's move on a little bit then regarding our US players, and then we'll jump on to the combined 11. So massive shock when Preston Heath joined. We was obviously over the moon. But Emma, what were your thoughts when you had your American signings in the summer?
Yeah, massively impressed. I didn't think we could get those sort of caliber of players, to be honest. But it's fantastic to see them move over to the WSL. I think we can both agree that we've all sort of had joy from both signings. With you and Press and Tobin and us with Lavelle and Sam as well. So I've been really happy with the impact that they've both had at the club. I'd love to see them activate that 1-year extension. I'd love to see what else they can bring. I think next season for us is going to be a big season, with the signings that we've made. Obviously bringing Abby Dalkemper into the squad now, I think is a really good move for us, because it allows us some time to bed in, which I think is almost what sort of made us fall short at the beginning of the season, bedding in players and having that time to sort of gel and adjust to the style of play. But, I think we're having a lot of success with them now. And, it was great to see Lavelle back in the, well, she wasn't in the starting 11, but she was on the bench, and she came up off the bench and contributed at the weekend, which was also great to see as well. And, we'll be looking forward to having Sam back in the squad, because she's had such a fantastic impact for us as well.
I'm sure you're also looking forward to actually seeing them at the stadium. It would be, such a shame if we don't get, such two memorable signings for us both. If we turn around and say that we never actually got a chance to see them, especially as fans who go to the matches, I'm sure that's something that's on our mind. And also maybe on their mind, maybe they would want to have that 1-year extension so they can experience the WSL crowds, especially City and United being a good, strong following. Let's hope that plays on their mind and they want to stay for that extra season for that reason. What are your thoughts on the United signings with Preston Heath?
I think Heath has been fantastic, to be honest. I don't think we've probably seen enough of Press, but I think she had a really good game at the weekend. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how she fares for the rest of the season, Press in particular. But obviously, unfortunately, you've lost Tobin to a bit of a bad injury, haven't you, for what was it, 10, 12 weeks?
Yeah.
Yes, and we're not too sure how long, we're going to be missing Sam, and then obviously, that She Believes is coming up. I don't think that really impacts on any of the games as such, but I think obviously we felt it with the recent camp, because obviously we both lost. Well, we lost. You didn't lose any players, did you? We lost and rose to the camp. So yeah, fair play there for the commitment of the players.
Yeah. I mean, that really made me laugh. I think it was already in their contracts or something, but just seeing the meltdown when Sam MUWFC especially went on that camp, and then I think it was even Becky, I don't know if she's still around, but it was like, but Tobin's not going anywhere. And I thought, yes, that's right, Tobin's staying in. And
yeah, I couldn't believe it, to be fair. But fair play. I mean, I think what the positive for me is that obviously, we've had a good few games without Sam, and we've managed perfectly fine, scoring quite a few goals. So we're not doing too bad without her. But yeah, she's been fantastic for us. She's had such an impact, and she really hit the ground running. So that's always great to see, especially when a player like Sam Rose, those international players go through that transition to the WSL. Not just for the football element, but that environment settling in as well. So yeah, really pleased with how they've done.
Would you say that Sam has been your best player this season?
One of. One of.
I think we're
I've been really impressed with this, to be honest. It was really tough because I didn't really know what to expect from Sam. Because we've got such a strong midfield anyway. How are we going to rotate? How are we going to manage that? And she's probably had more involvement than I thought she would have. But all positive. She's a positive player, and I think that that elevated our game, and it really shows on the pitch as well. And I think she's been great to have around the squad as well, from what I hear. So yeah, really good.
I'm smiling to myself because you just said that you got a real strong midfield. I'm thinking to myself, who I'm going to put in the combined 11 in a bit. And, Natalie, your final thoughts on the US players coming over? I think they've done really well, haven't they?
Yeah, well, obviously, Sam MUWFC for me has been the best player for Man City, best player in the WSL. You can't deny that. For me, I was surprised that Rose Lavelle hasn't played, whether she's being played right, but I think a lot of people have said this, haven't they, John? Oh, we're not playing Press right, Press is this, but it's like, no, not in a horrible way. This is our team, and it's sort of it was a mutual thing. I think they needed games, and we wanted obviously quality players. And I think with Press coming in, and people were sort of like, play a left wing, and I was thinking she's not going to play a left wing. Leah Galton's our left winger, and I think and then obviously Tobin right wing, bang, instant. Let's not even talk about. I've got another thing to say about Tobin, but I think that's what I've been surprised about, and I think I heard someone say something about that was a signing that other people were surprised about because she's not really playing and it's been hard for her to get in. So it's sort of like she's a quality player though, and she'd improve probably even Chelsea and us. And so why, if anything, is she not playing? And I don't know. I mean, Emma can ask that maybe in a bit, but the one girl, man, I love her to death. And I thought I'd love Press more. And I think Press, like you say, it's a form thing. I think now we're going to see the best of Kristen. And she looks happy beyond belief. She scored a goal. She was saying all this. She's saying, "Oh, fans, I missed you." So that Press, I think, is coming back. She's posting pictures, happiness. But Tobin, those beautiful comments that she said, posted it today. It's been in my head today. Manchester is red. And I think it's like she felt it, I think there's that feeling when you go to Man United, bang, this is Man United. Manchester is red. Everyone knows it. Manchester, no one likes City. It's Manchester United, and that's the T. And, I was taught it. God knows who taught her, but she's really, she is like an English, girl, innit? even though she's American. She loves that football, that rivalry, that, you know, the rest of them are calling it soccer. She's like, here, like, I'm ready to play some football. Let's go, wingers and all this. And I just think he's got that passion that we have. And I know Millie Turner's even saying things like, I can't wait till the fans are back because they're going to buzz off her the way we buzz off her. And I just think that the mentality that she's brought, I mean, I think they both have, but she's just got that extra little spice about her. And I was more, like I said, buzzing for Kristen, but Tobin has just sat me up straight, ready to go and fight, and it's great.
Well, on the contract side of things, now what have they got? Is it a year or is there an optional?
It's a year, but I think there's talk, isn't there? You know, we've had a few journalists on here that they're going to sign another year. I think they're at the Racing Louis or whatever, and apparently they don't want to go there. So are they going to go back to the NWSL, to a team that they don't really want to be at, or are they going to stop for another year and play where they want to play? I mean, like what's said there, and I think this is probably the same with Rose. What Emma's saying, she's not playing in a exact position, but I think people in the NWSL, maybe American fans, will go mad at me, but I think they think it's going to be easy, and I don't think it is easy. I think it's a lot more. I'm not saying it's not physical, but I think it's a lot more physical here. I think the refs let you away with a lot more probably here. You know, here you find, you know, what we've been seeing actually recently is a lot of stamps, a lot of, you know, apparently Jill Scott elbowed someone. We're seeing a lot of roughness, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen in all leagues, but, you know, I think that's what they're finding potentially. I mean, you talk about Rose, but I think that's what it is. There's a bit, that extra physicality is probably, and they've not played for so long, and it's only just now, maybe this half of the season, we'll see the best from those two Americans, whereas the other two are just.
I think so. I almost put like Press and Lavelle under the same sort of bracket, if that makes sense. You know, I think like with Tobin and MUWFC, like they've both really contributed well for both teams, but I think we've really yet to see the best from Press and Lavelle. I think that's yet to come, and I hope we see it.
I think we'll see when we see like more games. Hopefully, when they start playing more consistently, hopefully we'll see that. But of course, we've got the likes of LJ, who that means that she can't play, or Russo, or so it's tough because Casey's got plenty of players to choose from. On that note, I think it's time to kind of go through who we would put in each position. So I know I put a tweet out a little bit earlier about who. I think I said something along the lines of, I'll put 4 Man City players in. And I think that was being a little bit generous, but maybe I'm wrong. I do want to shout out some people who took part in that tweet. So Matt Johnson, who was on our show last week, on a transfer show, he said he would go with Roebuck, Bronze, Turner and Turner, Ona, MUWFC, Zellum, Groningen, Heath, Galton and Press. Gareth, who was on the show on Sunday. Oh, gone under my keyboard. Here we go. Roebuck, Bronze, Amy Turner, Darkemper, Ona, Ladd, MUWFC, Toon, Heath, Galton, and Russo. And then one more I've written down as well. Red_Devil 878 said Earps, Smith, Millie, Alex Greenwood, Bronze, Tooney, MUWFC, and Hansen, Heath, Galton, and James. So I think, admittedly, they're all probably Man United fans on my Twitter more than Man City fans. But it does look like a bit of a 70-30 split, roughly. So it'll be interesting to see what we all come up with. So we'll start off with, we'll go with a 4-3-3 kind of formation. So 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 3 attackers. And then we'll just go from there. So goalkeeper, sort of Roebuck, I'm guessing. Do you want to start off on this one, Emma?
Roebuck. It's simple.
Isn't that simple though? I mean, if you have a look at goals conceded,
yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, all right, can't swear on this, can we? Right?
Oh, swear, don't worry.
It's what I like to call a shit sandwich, right? So positive and a negative in between.
Okay.
What I love about Earps is she's really vocal. You know, you hear her in a game, you know, she gives instructions, and I really like that about a goalkeeper. She's got that kind of presence, you know. the thing is with Earps, I find when she's pressured, she makes mistakes. And I feel with Roebuck, she's and Earps does have really, really good distribution as well. But I think with Roebuck, she's so good with the ball at her feet. When she's pressured, playing out from the back, I just think she's quality. Basically, I just think she's just got a bit of an extra level to that of Earps.
This might be one of the one that we do concede on, John. But what I wanted to say is for Big Emmy, Mary Earps, the talking is absolutely quality. I mean, that's the voice that I hear. If I don't hear Katie's voice, I hear hers, and it's Millie do this, Millie go left, Millie go right. Oh no, your shoulder, this, and I just think she's that experience in our team in a way. She's young herself. She's not old, but when she came in last year, she's that experienced player. I mean, Becky's saying hands down. I want her to post hers in the comments. I'm seeing my Man United fans hands down. Last year I would have said hands down. Ellie hands down. She's saying
right. Okay.
Last year I would have said Ellie Roebuck hands down. Yeah, I would have said it. Boom, straight up. And even at a point just before Christmas, I think there was a little shake from Mary. But I think since that, nothing. She's been unstoppable. Mary for me, she's absolutely. Millie, get back here. Yeah, that's what she's been like, and I just think she's been unstoppable. But I will say, Roebuck. What I will say is, I remember that game that you guys played Chelsea, and I think Roebuck made a mistake or something. So listen, they're all prone to it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Ellie's made a couple of mistakes, but relatively, if you're looking at her overall, she's fairly consistent. And for a young goalkeeper as well, I think it's credit to her. I think her development has been fantastic. And I do think, she's potentially England #1. I think it's gotten written all over her, to be honest. And I'm excited for what the future holds for her. She's obviously signed a long-term contract. You talked about long-term contracts with Kirsty before. Obviously, we've seen that again with Ellie for us this week. So I'm really pleased to see her commit to the club.
John?
Looking at the comments. Oh, is my speaker okay? There we go. We're okay. Looking at the comments and from what we've said, I think we probably have to agree on Man City one there, unfortunately. I was writing it down so I can remember them all at the end.
That's it now. Done.
We're over.
Two fullbacks and two centre backs. So I'm going to start with the fullbacks. In my opinion, I think Ona has to be the first choice. And then it's up to us who goes with her. Yeah. I think Kirsty Smith's done a cracking job, and I think she's improved on last season. I think she's up there. She's been basically our second best fullback this season in a title challenging campaign. So she's obviously done a great job. But for me, Ona's been another level. So for me, Ona's got to be there. Let's start off with yourself this time. Who would you kind of put with Ona? I'm guessing that you're going to choose Ona.
You can't wait to say it.
Ona is the best fullback in this league, period. Over, finished. There's not even a debate about it. And this is why, when you said before, John, people were hoping Green would come back. Thanks for coming, mate. Yeah, we're done. We've upgraded. We moved on. Forgot about you. Because Ona's there, mate. Absolutely leading it, smashing it. Queen, mate. And I'd probably say bronze next to her. You've got to probably say bronze, haven't you? But I mean, it's up to Emma. She knows better with the City players. Smithy's been absolutely quality. I can't deny Smithy how good she's been. But, yeah, she's not better than Bronze or Greenwood as a fullback. But she has just been amazing. I never thought I'd say that about Smithy, who I thought, Smithy wasn't one of the standouts of that championship. But the difference from her in 2018 to 2021 is absolutely amazing. That's credit to Casey. But you have to say, one of theirs for the other choice. But Ona, mate, then the rest. That's it.
I mean, do you agree with that, Emma, or would you go for Greenwood or?
I just need to get this clear, right? Are we basing this solely on this season? Because that makes a difference.
Yeah. Let's go for form this season. Yeah.
Right, form this season, right?
You're right. It does make a massive difference.
No,
it does. Yeah.
Ona over bronze.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
So who would you put on the other side then, Emma?
Clear, mate. Clear.
Right. So I'm gonna on the left back. I want to put Greenwood there.
2 attacking fullbacks. It'll be a good game. Whoever they play.
Well, this is the thing, right? Like I said, I've been so impressed with Alex. You know, I think she's been fantastic, and they're both 2 players that can drive the team forward. I think on the left, I'd get her with teamed up with Golden.
She knows her as well. But so would you say, because Honor can play right or left?
Well, this is what I'm thinking.
So, we're best at both. You know what I'm saying?
You've got players I've noticed that drop in and out of positions and have got that versatility on either side. But I think the best of what I've seen is Ona and Leah.
Yeah. We were saying this last week, wasn't we? That or on the last show, you know, potentially if we got the best left-sided team, like left-sided players in the WSL, potentially.
People might be surprised about why I'm not saying bronze, but if we're basing it on solely this season, I just don't think she's hit that level that we know she can do.
Okay, that's fair enough, because I'm
she had a really good game last week, and I feel like everything's coming together. So, like I said, when I'm saying I'm excited for the rest of the season, genuinely, I really start to feel like we are really seeing the best of the team, the cohesiveness of that.
Let's go for the centre backs then, because this one I'm a little bit undecided on this one because I don't know enough about your new signing that you've got. There's a few people on Twitter put in at least one Man City centre back in there, but for me, the way I see our centre backs at the moment is Amy Turner is on form, our best centre back and potentially the WSL best centre back on form. But Millie Turner's always been like our go-to centre back, so it's a bit awkward for me on this one because obviously I like them both, but I do appreciate that I might have to concede one of them. But Emma, do you want to start off on this one?
No,
go on, Nat. I can see that you're dying to get in there. Go on.
Listen, they are the best centre back pairing in the league. Turner and Turner back again. You know, that's why Abby's gone. Not in a I like Abby. I wanted her to do well, but always there was that thing with Abby. I don't know what it was, but you know, and I just think when last year Amy was on the right, she was just building up slowly. And that's the thing about Amy. There was a bit of rashness. This is why I don't think she played centre back last year. There's a bit of rashness where you would think, shit, what's she going to do? Is she going to give away a penalty? But I think she's taken that out. She's more calm. She's more concise. She's more thinking about the game as a whole. And for me, she, like you said, if you had to just look at it on form, on paper, who is the best centre back in the league? And people were saying she should play for England, and I was like, no. You know, she's not young, she's old. You know, new centre backs. But I'm thinking, look at her every game. Can't deny it now. And I'm thinking, actually, she's got a shout now. She maybe should be playing for England because no one touches her. She's the best. And usually we say Millie, but for me, that pairing, you know, solid foundations, and we're here again, 2021, Turner and Turner. Not even a debate. I mean, I'm sure you'll say some other one, but for me, TNT winners, mate. Not even. I'm not conceding. John's going to concede because he's nice. I ain't conceding. You have to say to me, Emma, because for me it's Amy, then Millie. So if you want to say to me, and a City player is better than Millie Turner, I'm ready.
I just don't know enough about the City players, so go on, Emma.
Right, I'm going to say, and she gets so much. Well, she's been getting so much stick recently on Twitter, but I'm still going with Horton. I'm sorry, and
not a chance.
No, I know, right? But you just don't see what obviously we see. I get that, and you know, she's made some mistakes this season, but she is still so consistent in other areas. I just think of it, you know, her balls are long balls. You know, she has a lot of, you know, possession and pass success. And, you know, statistically, she's really high up there. So I think for me, it's Steph and Millie Turner.
I'd say Amy Turner all day. I'd just say Amy Turner all day. And if we're just, you, like I said, Millie always, yeah. Millie's the one, but Amy Turner is the best. If you're going to sit there and say, and one man, if we have to say, John's making me concede, then I have to concede Millie. That's it, because Amy is just different levels, and I just think, and then this is just on form this season. Amy has to be the one for Man United. If we have to put a City on in, I wouldn't put a City one in. I'd do the Turner twins.
Not only that as well, we've seen a lot of the centre back position at City has been rotated quite a lot. We've seen Esme Morgan go into there, Greenwood's gone into there, but Steph has played pretty much every single game and played a lot of minutes as well. So for that consistency, I've got to say Steph.
So I'm left with a tough decision, aren't I? That's the thing. You see, I was going to go for Turner and concede on 2 other positions later on. So to be fair, I'm probably going to stick with that, but only because I just don't know enough about Steph. So I've seen Turner play enough, and I trust them with what you were saying. You're probably right this season. Maybe I don't think anyone's played better than Amy. Because me personally, I would have gone for Amy, and then the question is, would it be Millie or?
See, it's a hard one with Amy, because I don't see enough of Amy to sort of make that judgment. But from what I've seen of Millie, I've been pretty impressed.
It's a tough one.
You've seen Millie last year. Millie last 2-3 years ago. I don't know how much you've watched of this season. Millie hand down with our best centre back. But just this season, like I'm saying, it's on form this season. Amy, for me, is, and I'm one of Millie's biggest fans. And
obviously Amy's made like a lot more. She's obviously made way for sort of Abby, really, hasn't she?
Yep, 100%. She's seen her off, mate. She's done the thing. And
it's point out in the comments. Everyone in the comments.
I still can't believe that's happened. Do you know what I mean?
Why that Abby's gone and Amy stayed?
No, just that Abby's gone. Do you know what I mean? Just quite surprised.
Right, we'll move on. We'll move on. It's up to you guys how you want to set up your midfield. I think it's kind of like common sense whether or not you can put like either your best 3 players, or you could have like more of like a team, like a central defensive one, or a more of attacking one, or a box to box. Completely up to you. I'll go for mine first. So we've got to put one of our leading goal scorers in there, in my opinion, which is Tooney. People won't realise how good Tooney's done unless if you've actually been watching the games, but a record speaks for itself. I would then go for Hayley Ladd, because I don't know enough about Man City's central defensive midfielder, but I know how good Ladd is. This is the awkward one for me. Do I go for MUWFC or Jackie? Because Jackie, for me, has been one of our players of the season. But because I could hear the way Natalie talk and the way social media talk, then I'll probably have to concede on this one and put MUWFC in there. So for me, I can't take Tooney out because she's one of our leading goal scorers. I'll put MUWFC in there out of respect for how well she's done. And then I might be wrong on Ladd. I might be wrong on that one. But me personally, because I don't know enough about the Man City CDM kind of role, then I'd probably go for Ladd. So they're mine. Go on, Emma. You go for your 3.
It's hard, you see, because I set up totally different.
Okay. No, go on. Sorry.
So I've got to put Kira Walsh in. I think she's been fantastic. She's played in that central defensive role this season. We've asked a little bit something different of her this season. We have a lot of joy through Kira. She likes to press, and she's the type of player for me that I always forget how young she is. She plays beyond the years a little bit. She's so experienced and she reads the game really well. So for me, Kira Walsh, you've got to have her in a squad. She's been fantastic again this season. She just seems to every season just elevate a game even more. And she is a really core player for City. She's one player that is guaranteed to be always on the starting 11 for us. And then I want to put Golson in. I really do like Golson. Like I said, I've really enjoyed watching her this season. I think She links up really well, and she's just a forward-thinking player. You know, she's had a lot of joy on the wings. You know, crossing in particular, I think she's been really excellent, and in front of goal as well, she's been fantastic. So I think there's a no case there. So I think she's, you know, one sort of player that you want in the team. She'd certainly be one player for me that I'd love to see at City. I really do like her. And then on the other side, I've got to go for Weir. I think it's hard because, you know, I do want to fit. I did want to put MUWFC in there, but Golden for me is great. But Caroline Weir, you know, she's come back from injury. Every time she's in the squad, you know, she's so creative, and you know, she can work wonders with the ball. You've seen it in the derby at the Etihad. You know, she's fantastic, and her finishing's quality. And I just really enjoy watching her because I never know what you're going to get from her.
Put Weir over MUWFC. No, I mean, the way I do it, I'm not even going to say. I'd put MUWFC as a CDM. I don't know if she's been like that, but for me, I think she can do everything. I think she's that box to box. I think definitely if she was in our team, she would be up and down anyway. And where I've seen her, that's where she's been. For me, she's been the best player at City this year. I know Walsh and that Weir does a lot of things, but for me, she's been the best player at City. You know, when City were in the mud, as I like to say, she was the one dragging them out.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Doing anything, she was the one dragging them out. So for me, MUWFC has to go in. Another one that has to go in for Man United, though, Groningen. For me, she's our best midfielder. For me, you know, last year we were bigging up Lad, and I know you sort of said Lad, John, and I understand why people are saying Lad, you know, defensive and this and that, but for me, Jackie Groningen, this sort of after Christmas was maybe not seen the best, but just before Christmas, to be honest, she was absolutely dictating everything. Everything was going through her. And I think that's a massive credit to her, massive credit to Casey, just because last year it wasn't really like that. It wasn't going her way a lot of the times, but just the way she has the ball, the through balls that she plays, her, you know, she's behind a lot of that press, you know, that goal, that rocket, that thing, that was her pressing whoever, MUWFC, I think, to give the ball to Bronze, who gave it to Tobin, bang, rocket goal. So I think she's really underrated, Jackie. I think a lot of people do probably overrate her, and that's why then she gets underrated. But for me, Jackie has to go in there. And then obviously the big one, E.T., Ella Toon. Again, she's playing as a sort of 10 of us, but it's not a 10 role that she plays. I don't know if Rahul's still here, but he sort of says it. She's like a box-to-box herself. But I think, you know, for me, Tooney should have been playing a lot last year, but she wasn't. But I don't think she's not let that affect her. She's gone. She's worked even harder. She's staying back after training. And then look at her, 6 goals in the WSL. Can't take anything away from what Ella Toon's doing. And, you know, she has a lot of shots. Maybe the conversion rate isn't the best, but, you know, you need to be doing that. I think, you know, if you know, you play in a team like, for example, Villa, playing a team like Villa, she was having a lot of shots. And I think, you know, you need to be testing the keeper all the time in the WSL because you don't know what can happen. And, you know, Golden played that ball across and then bang, who was there? Ella Toon. Bang, 6 goals this season.
She is really, really creative, Ella Toon. And, you know, I think this is, again, goes back, you know, City really built those foundations for United to build upon.
He's been in. Just went off for a couple of years.
Yeah, I think it's great to see a player like Ella. You know, she's still so young as well in her career, and you know, she has been absolutely fantastic, and that's what you want to see. You know, creativity, and she's got that in abundance, and it's great to see. You know, regardless of conversion and whether or not, you know, that she's finding the back of the net, she's giving it a crack, and that's what you want to see. She's having those opportunities, and you know, that's always positive.
I think from what you guys have just said, we do agree on a couple of names. So we agree Galton should be in there, even though I think she's probably more suited out wide. So I'll probably put her out wide. I'm happy to concede, lad, because I've heard your arguments and I probably agree with what you've said. I can't drop Tooney. So Tooney's got to start. That's definitely 2-on-1 on that one. I have to put my foot down on Tooney. That's Tooney MUWFC, and then I'll let the comments fight it out on the other midfielder. So MUWFC, and then one other name. So whatever name appears the most in the comments can go alongside Tooney and MUWFC, because there's a few. Well, I'm not going to say no to Jackie.
Yeah, but this is where it's getting silly, because I'm on my own. Do you know what I mean?
Where's your mate? Where's your mate? Where's my
She can put it like 10 times.
I don't know. But
I don't know. I mean, I would let. I don't know. Then who would you put then, Emma? Let's say a City one if we can't have Jackie.
That's all right.
No. Who would you put?
Wait,
or Walsh then?
Well, it's hard. I love the. I'm just thinking strategy. Me, I'm thinking this is a real game, and I'm like now. Just like the link-up play that I've seen with Greenwood and Weir, that's what I'm thinking. You know, again, like I saw Owner and Bolson there. You know, 2 left-footed players in your team. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me.
So we'll put Weir in then.
We'll put Weir in. So the front three. I know this is probably going to go. Yeah. The front three. Sorry, I've knocked out your formation a bit, Emma, but Galton has to be in there, and you kind of said how well Galton's played, but that does probably knock out one of your other players. I'm going to go with Heath on one side, Galton on the other, but I'm going to go against probably what a lot of Man United fans are going to say here. I'm happy to concede the person up front, because if Russo was fully fit all season, I would have gone Russo. Press hasn't been consistent, and we haven't seen enough of LJ. So I'm happy to concede that number 9 role, whereas maybe some of the other people probably won't be. But for me, it's definitely going to be Galton and Heath, and then I'll let everybody else fight out the number 9 role. So I'll let you guys.
I'm still happy to fight for Russo, because I think she would fit perfectly. But like you said, isn't it? She's been injured half of it. Hopefully she'll come back. She'll miss the derby, but hopefully she'll come back maybe even before Arsenal or something like that. You know, for me, she's a quality player. I mean, I don't know enough about City's attack in a way to. So you know, they score loads of goals.
We'll know about it in 2 weeks' time.
Listen, I just know about Bolton and Heath, and I just know that is the fire. You know, that's where our goals have come from. That's where everything. And to be fair, you can't change that.
Oh,
yeah.
That's an interesting one.
In between all that, if I was going to put one name forward, at least it would be CK, Chloe Kelly. I think she's been fantastic, and there's, you know, no denying the impact that she's had at City. I think she's been, you know, one of our best. You asked me who my best player was, Lewis, and CK's in there as well. She's been brilliant. I've loved what she's brought to the team as well. You know, I wasn't too sure really once we signed her, really how kind of instrumental she'd be to the squad, and she really has. She's just such a positive player, and I love kind of seeing that role that she's playing. We're having a lot of joy and a lot of success, and we're now, you know, we were so creative at the beginning of the season, you know, having opportunities left, right, and centre, but just not being able to convert. But now we're really showing that we can be clinical, which is what we've missed, and now we're finding it, our clinical edge. So, yeah, and I think she's been really instrumental in that for us.
I know a few Man United fans in pre-season who said like Chloe Kelly on. Sorry, my sound keeps playing up, so bear with me. Sorry. What was your other 2 players up front? Who else would you have chose?
Who are you asking me?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
I'd have put Tobin in there as well. I think she's been fantastic. Like you say, I think the United goal really does stick out in my mind, because when she hit that, she hit it with some intent. You know what I mean? She pretty much lifted the goal off the floor. You know what I mean? It was a really good finish, and you know, seeing that kind of passion in a player as well. Like you said, Nat obviously spoke about it pretty strongly before. Is good to see. Yeah, and she's just brought so much to United, and I think a lot of the success has come through some of the play that she's created and been involved with as well. So yeah, I think Tobin's definitely in with the shout. The other player for me would be Stanway.
Yeah, I thought he might have said that, to be fair. For me, it's just the fact that Galton and Heath have done so well for us. Then obviously, I couldn't leave either of those out. Go on, Nat.
If you had to say, because that's what we put Tooney as a 10. I'm not sure if that's where you put Stanway. I don't know your full.
Well, to be honest, I had actually got it written down as like proper forward attacking player, and definitely a shout for me. I think Tooney's been fantastic for you this season as well, and it's really hard. I think, and the reason is it's so hard is because we've seen so much. We talk about the squad depth, and we've seen so many players coming in and out of positions and utilising the squads. And I think we've both fully really utilised our squads. I mean, I can't necessarily say that United have got a best starting 11, and I can't say that we have either. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what makes it so interesting this season is that, whereas probably last season or season before, you could pretty much guarantee who was going to be in the starting 11. But this season, it's completely different, really utilising that squad depth. And there's so much quality throughout positions as well. And, players fighting for positions, you know what I mean? Like you say, LJ, when she's come on, she's been brilliant. Sigsworth probably hasn't played as much as I would have expected her to play this season. But when she has come on, she's been all right. So it's difficult. We've seen the same with, Ellen White, midfield, it's moving about all the time. Players moving in and out of positions. Becky's another player for us that I really enjoy watching. And her game's been pretty limited this season. So it is really difficult when you're thinking about the starting 11 combined. It's really tough, to be fair. So no wonder everyone's got different opinions on it because it's really tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Go on, Nat. You were going to say something.
Obviously, you just said Ellen White. That's one that I'm surprised on. That's not. You never put her at 9. And then there's all this, I think, as well, like potentially, if we had looked at it on paper, you would say potentially maybe more, just without this season, if you just looked at raw paper, you would probably pick a lot more City players. Brand, you would pick her. But I think it's the credit to all our players, Honor. No one knew who she was, and she's bang, one of our players of the season. And I just think, I'm not saying it's slagging us City, but I just think this is what we've got ahead of them in a way. Maybe. I know it's coming back for years, but it's that belief. It's that, I don't know, it's just something that they believe that they're going to do it. They believe that they're going to win. They believe, and, it doesn't matter if I've got all this talent, I'm going to work harder than you. And I just think that's what we do. And that's why we are where we are, because we're going to work harder. On paper, you would say Arsenal would have beaten us, but we're going to work harder than Arsenal, and we're going to get them 3 points. City, like I said, should have beaten us. We'll work harder than you, and we'll win that game. And I just think it's stupidness why we lost that Chelsea game. And Casey let it know it's stupid. You can't do that. But like you say, a lot of these are championship players in a way, but they're just working so hard and they'll fight till the end.
I do genuinely feel though this game is probably the biggest that we've had in terms of magnitude. I don't feel as though on paper there's much to separate the two sides, and that's, I think, being honest. I kind of feel that's credit to United and the work we've done, and the work that Casey's done. I'm really looking forward to the game, but I'm certainly a little bit more apprehensive about it than I would have been on previous occasions. I always believe that we can get a result, and I'm expecting a result, and it better be a good one as well. But I'm certainly under no illusions that United are going to make it easy for us, because it's going to be one tough game, and I think both teams are going to have to be, on top of their game.
We're going to wrap it up shortly because we have had an extra long show, but obviously we've got to give some sort of prediction then when we've kind of gone into it a little bit there. First of all, do you think this this particular game, Emma, will make or break your season, or do you think there's other games that are either more important, or do you really think that if you potentially lose this game that the top 3 is out, or do you think there's a lot to go?
I don't think top 3 is out if we lose this game, but I think in terms of, you know, potentially going on and keeping the pressure on the top of the table, you know, potential to keep our title hopes alive, it's a must-win game. I won't settle for anything less. If we lose, I'm going to be really not happy.
that to me, that's kind of good to me, because if Man City come at us, we could potentially get them on the counter attack. That long ball to Galton.
I think it's going to be a massively open game. I think it's going to be goals. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Awesome. Natalie, your thoughts before I read out the combined 11?
I just think we need to start strong, like everyone's saying. We know, you know, Tobin's a massive miss. But I think press is going to start coming into her own, and I think, you know, John Ball's sort of saying there, start strong like we did against Arsenal. I think potentially if we start the way we did at LSV, we won't have that comeback, you know, because I think City are a different stage now. I think if we start strong, we can push them back. But for me, Emma's like, we need to win, kind of thing. I know she's sort of saying if she loses, but I think for me, if United get a point, it's good enough, you know. Now, I mean, we're sitting second. They're playing catch up to us, not the other way around. We don't have to sort of do this to do that. If anything, I think, you know, she's sort of saying if they lose, I mean, she's not saying top 3, but I think even if we lose, we're still in that Champions League thing. That's all that we were going for. But I mean, God, if we win, you know, they're still in the title race. Where are we? That's how we need to look, you know, because that's what people are saying. Oh, City. But if City is still in the title race, where are we then? You know, and that's what I've seen a lot of. You know, well, Chelsea are going to win it anyway. Who knows? You know, and it's games like this. If, like I said, you go unbeaten to the end. That's all you can do. You've done your job. I think we should have, you know, got a point off Chelsea, but you know, we are where we are now, and you just got to carry on keeping that pressure on, because I mean, if City beat Chelsea, then it's wide open for us. So we just need to stay around there like we're doing, you know, get 3 points at Reading, and then get the 3 points, hopefully, versus City. But even a draw would be good enough. And like you say, get the passports out, plan the trips. We're ready, mate. We're going on a European tour. And we would have taken it at the start, wouldn't we, John? We would have taken it by 1 point at third, but we're joint top. And so it's beyond our belief, you know, beyond our belief. But that's where we are at 2 years. Where we're going to be at 5, 10, this, you know, that's what I'm saying, taking over.
If you said to me at the start of the season, right, last game of the season, you can go into the game 4th, or come out last game of the season and finish 3rd, we'd have been over the moon with that. Well, I would have been, and I'm sure a lot of people would be as well. We have got to wrap it up, so we'll just summarise what we said on the combined 11. So we agreed Roebuck in goal, Ona and Alex as fullbacks, Turner and Turner just about as centre backs, Weir, Mewis and Tooney in the midfield, Galton, Heath and Kelly up front. That's still a pretty good team, and maybe one day we'll be on your show, Emma, and it might be a little bit more biased towards the Manchester.
Definitely.
But thank you very much for coming on, Emma. I really do appreciate it. I know it's been a long show, but people have stayed on. Yes, it has been really good. It's flowed really well. Really enjoyed it, and people have stayed on to watch it, even though it's an extra long show. It's getting late as well, 9 o'clock, so we do really appreciate it. Emma, if people want to find you on social media, how can they go about doing that?
Yeah, so my personal account is at Emma Schoen. It's Emma_Schoen. And then if you're interested in following the podcast, it's at MCW Fancast. And we're also available on iTunes and wherever you get your podcasts. So check it out.
Thank you. Natalie, where can people find yourself?
Natalie_17. I know it's wrong on that little thing. And, you know, obviously, if anyone wants to get involved with just what the fans are doing, sports clubs, Barmy Army MUWFC, you know, follow them, all the socials. Like Emma says, it's a big community, it's growing, and you know, we just want to carry on pushing it and supporting the girls. So get involved with that.
100%, thank you, Nat. Yeah, and we've got a couple of good shows lined up. So Sunday, match reaction show with the usual crowd, and also one extra one. So Anthony will be making his debut on the show as well, which I'm really looking forward to. And next Thursday, we have another great show lined up. Richard Laverty returns. So
Yeah.
Rich was on the show when we first started, pretty much. So it's great to see him come back, and that'll be a fantastic debate on Thursday. So if you thought this was a bit of a debate, God knows what Nat's got in store with.
Rich does me head in, so it's going to be good.
Feel sorry for him.
He does it on purpose.
Thank you to everybody for joining in the comments, and thank you to the prize winners. We are going to shoot off, so thank you again, Emma, and see you all
Cheers,
Sunday.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emma. Nice one.